Hey, what's up, guys? Congrats to Shakur Stevenson on his victory over Robson Conceicao. Um, I scored the fight 116-111. I gave Conceicao the third, the ninth, and the 10th, I believe. And the eighth, I think I had an even round. All right, I had one even round in the fight. All right, it's so much to say about this fight, man, and I know I'm probably gonna miss something. All right. First off, this fight was sickening to watch, okay, and not because of Robson Conceição's performance. I'm actually proud of what the guy did. All right, to me, I don't care what anybody else says. I don't know what everybody else will say. To me, he showed that he was better than a plus 1,300 or a plus 1,000. He fought way better than that. At those odds, this should have been a 12-0 shutout or a knockout victory by Shakur Stevenson, all right? And this was a competitive fight. I salute this guy. He actually gave Shakur a competitive fight, probably the most competitive fight of his career so far. Definitely more competitive than Jamel Herring and Oscar Valdez, all right? Now, having said that, Conceição had everybody against him in this fight, man. He had everybody against him in this fight. Not only did he have to fight Shakur, he had the crowd against him. He had the referee against him. He had the commentators were against him. Hell, the commission was against him. All right. I'm surprised one of the cameramen didn't hit him over the head with a camera. All right, it was that bad for Conceição. All right. Um, Look, man, the referee did a shit job in this fight. He gave Shakur Stevenson 3 warnings for low blows. Did not take a point. All right. He said on the third one, he said that's the second time. All right. So one of the times he forgot. All right. Supposedly. All right. The knockdown that they called. Watching it live initially in real time, I didn't think it was a knockdown. All right. But after the replay, if you want to say he got hit and then it was like a delayed reaction, the guy took a knee. If you want to say that, I can't complain because he did land a punch and then ultimately went down. So I would not make a stink about that. All right, that can be hit or miss. Like I said, in real time, if I was the ref and that would have happened, it probably would not have been called a knockdown. All right, because we've seen blatant knockdowns not get called knockdown. All right, okay. So we had the low blows. We had that. All right. I think it was in the eighth round. Conceição threw a punch. He whiffed. His back was to Shakur. Shakur punched the man right in the back of the head, man. Right in the back of the head. The referee standing right there looking. He did nothing. All right. He just like kind of, stepped in between them, gave Conceição a second, and then told him to box. All right. Terrible. That should have been a point deduction. All right. Then uh, you know, Shakur does a judo toss on Conceição, you know, throws the guy down. The only break Conceição got in the fight, fairness from the referee got in the fight, he automatically deducted a point from Stevenson, all right. He had the balls, the nuts to do it in his hometown, to take a point, all right. Then a round or two later, he does the shit again. Throws the man down again. Does he take a point? No. He says, "Don't do that again, man. You ain't got to do that, man." What kind of shit is that? What is that? So on the first blatant foul, you take a point. The guy does it again, and you just give him a warning. Come on, man. What kind of backwards ass refereeing is that? That was terrible, man. That was terrible. All right. That should have been another point, and then he should have said, "If you do it again, you're getting disqualified." All right. So he got away with three at least that were recognized low blows because there were more than that. Um, no point for that. He got two judo tosses and only 1 point deduction. All right. Then when I said the commission was against him, it was like what, like the seventh round or so. They were going into the seventh round, or I believe, and then they talking about they gonna send a doctor over to see if Conceição's all right. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is a competitive fight. It's not like the guy been knocked down multiple times, staggering all over the ring. His eyes shut. That's not that wasn't the case. And they talking about they gonna send the translator and the doctor over to check on him. Man, that sounds like some slick shit. Like they were like in lost in translation, and then say, "Oh, the guy said he wasn't all right, so we gonna stop the fight." That was terrible. All right, and these commentators, oh man, I'm telling you, if I didn't need the sound, to hear these punches that were being landed by both men, for fairness and judging this fight, I would have muted this shit, man. This was the Shakur Stevenson show. It was all about him. Everything that he did, he was supposedly beating up Conceicao in a fight that was competitive in my eyes. But according to them, he's beating him up. Andre Ward with his biased ass, his shouldn't even be on commentary because he was this guy's manager, at one point in his career, you know his one-sided scorecard. Oh, he's beating up Conceição. No, he was not. Now was he outboxing a guy, winning the fight, landing more power punches? Were his punches more telling? Yes, okay, yes, that's a fact. But when you say the guy getting beat up, you would think that he was, had the guy's eyes swelling, bleeding all over the place, multiple knockdowns, the guy taking a knee because he want to quit, he trying to find a way out. That's not what was happening, man. And Andre Ward with his bullshit, man, it was terrible. To the point to where when Shakur did that first judo toss and got a point taken away, they didn't say nothing bad about Shakur. It was like it didn't even happen. It was a silent break in the action. The ref took the point. When they start boxing again, they just start calling action. They didn't criticize Shakur. They say he shouldn't do that. That's unsportsmanlike. No place in the sport for that. They said nothing. No criticism. Nothing. All right. Man, it was terrible, man. it was it was terrible. The guy Conceição was not getting the fair shake in any way in this fight. All right. You know, if Conceição had more power, this fight would have been very interesting, even more interesting than it was. All right, because this guy was actually landing on Shakur, despite what the commentators might say, despite CompuBox. Oh, CompuBox saying he's only landing 13% of his punches. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. I'm watching the fight. You can hear when this guy throwing the Shakur body, you can hear the noise, all right? When he's throwing to his head, you can hear the thud, all right? It's not like it was whiff, whiff, whiff. It's not like it was Jamel Herring. It's not like it was Oscar Valdez, all right? He was hitting Shakur Stevenson. This was a competitive fight. It looked like almost like Shakur had his mouth busted a little bit, all right? Conceição had a smart strategy of throwing to the body a lot, all right? That was a good strategy on a guy who was very good at head movement and being evasive. All right, that ultimately opened up the head because Shakur was, thinking body, and it was a bit of a lapse on the head, and then he was getting hit up top. All right, Conceição's problem was he was not the power puncher in the fight. He doesn't really have power. Shakur is more of a power puncher. He definitely has more power than Conceição. All right. And the things that he was doing was more telling. And Conceição obviously was not getting the proper credit for what he was doing, all right. But the lack of power and also not letting his hands go more was the downfall for Conceição. All right, in my opinion, this fight was on the table for him. He could have won this fight. All right, that might not be a popular opinion or statement. They might think that he had no chance or could never beat this guy. I disagree. He was finding this guy. He was landing on this guy. But he should have let his hands go way more than he did. he was content, and I don't know why these guys do this, man. They get in with these patient ass boxers, these guys like Shakur, like Teofimo Lopez, these guys who want to be patient, outthink you, pick you apart, counter you, all that kind of shit, right? Why give the guys time to think in the ring? You know, between one of the rounds, one of the few times they would, show what Conceição's corner was saying, his coach was telling him, you got to let your hands go more, all right? And this was like probably like 7, 8 round. It was past the halfway point of the fight, all right? That was his downfall, man. I know he couldn't help the power situation, all right, but he could have made up with it by letting his hands go more, by fighting this like it was the final fight of his life, a championship fight. He should have outthrown Shakur, man, and he would have had a better chance at winning this fight, because when he let his hands go, he had success. No doubt about it. It's definitely way more than anybody I've seen against this guy. All right, so that was his downfall, man. He should have let his hands go more, all right. And if he had power, it would have been more interesting. But guys, this was a crazy fight to watch. But I salute the guy for what he did. Even though he came up short, I didn't have him winning the fight. He did lose the fight, all right. He showed a good chin. He took some good shots and did not go down. From headshots, he supposedly went down from the body shot or whatever. But he had everything against him in this fight. And it was hard to watch. As somebody who was who had placed their wager and was rooting the guy on, wanted to see him do well. At least give the guy a fair shake on commentary from the ref, from the commission. You know, and I didn't think he was getting a fair shake. So really, guys, I think that's it. Conceição could come back, and especially when these titles become, well, they are vacant. He might not get an immediate shot, but maybe at some point he could fight somebody in the division and possibly become a champ at 130. Stevenson at 135, I doubt we get that Devin Haney fight. Haney probably gonna move up, so there would be belts available, to fight for. He needs to probably get back in the ring ASAP to try to position himself, at the top of the rankings at 135 for a vacant title shot. All right, but I give Conceição credit, man, for what he did in this fight. I don't know if many people will, considering the way Stevenson has been fighting. As far as pound for pound, I got to suspend him from his number 3 spot in my pound for pound because he didn't make weight. The performance, not the performance. Even though this guy was competitive against him, he still won the fight. I give him a lot of credit because this, is a dangerous guy at the top of the division, but um, you know, the guy didn't make weight, man. You a champion. You a pound for pound fighter. You gotta be a pro and you gotta make weight. So uh, so that is a knock on him as far as pound for pound for me. So really, I think that's it, guys. I think I covered everything. Like I said, 116, 111 for me. My call was closer than the official judges, who had it was like 117, 109, 118, 108, that kind of shit. I gave Conceição more credit for what he did in the fight than that. So, I think that's it, guys. If I missed anything, I will leave a comment in the comment section. Um, yeah, quite the biased neighborhood over there at ESPN. Man, oof, tough to watch, man. Salute to Conceição for giving this guy a fight, a challenge, for showing that he was a better fighter than what the odds said, in my opinion. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you thought about this fight, and I will check in soon. Thanks for watching.